That one into center field, and it's caught. This is a celebration of baseball here in Birmingham. And of course, the Giants and the Cardinals will play on Thursday night. And it's with heavy heart that I read this statement issued by the San Francisco Giants. It's with great sadness that we announce that Giants legend, Hall of Famer, Willie Mays has passed away at the age of 93. And here we are in a celebration in a ballpark where he got his start as a 17-year-old playing for the Black Barons. He was 17 when he joined them. And they won the Negro League American League that year. Willie Mays has passed away. And as a kid growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area, I had a chance to see him play later years, and then again see him around the Giants, see him around baseball. Just so beloved.
He was, and he really holds a special, very special place in my heart. In that when I was the young player coming up with the Diamondbacks, I wore number 24. When I walked out there to AT&T Park, Willie Mays got a hold of me. He saw me out in center field. He saw the way I played the game, and he sent somebody to come and grab me and have me come introduce myself to him. After I spoke with him, he said, "Why don't you come out to my house?" And so I went to Willie's house, showed me the 24 All-Star games, showed me all the gold gloves, showed me the MVP awards, and really took me under his wing when, I'm multiple generations removed from Willie Mays. But he thought enough of me and had enough connection with me, understanding his history in the game, that he wanted to make a difference in my life. And to this day, I never forget that moment that Willie and I have, and being able to go out to his house and share that special time with him. This is such a sad day for me personally, understanding that we're here celebrating Willie. So what a day for it to happen.
There's a great conversation, Jake Peavy on MLB Network, talking about when his father or his grandfather introduced him to Willie Mays, and they met each other in the Giants clubhouse when Jake was pitching for the Giants. And his father needed a coat. It was cold in San Francisco, and Willie said, "Take mine."
Yeah, he was that kind of man. Every person that he ever spoke to had such a high level of respect for him. He made you laugh. He would tell his stories, and he wasn't shy. He would let you know.
He had a great laugh.
He would let you know the great things that he did in this game, and you could feel the amount of love that he had for the game in the way that he shared his life and shared his story. That is always something that sticks with me. And that's how I'll always remember Willie. I'll remember him from those moments and how he impacted everybody else.
I was a small kid. Dad took me to Candlestick Park, pointed to center field. So that's Willie Mays. And as a small kid, you heard about Willie Mays from the neighbors and stuff. So the first time you lay eyes on him, you couldn't take your eyes off of him. And if you've just joined us, the news has broken that Willie Mays, the Giants legend, and Black Baron, back in the day, has passed away. Roy Brown Jr. joins us. Roy, he meant so much to this city, to Negro League Baseball, to Major League Baseball. He meant so much to everybody.
Yeah, he did. And, here in the city of Birmingham, Fairfield, the suburb where he's from, I had an opportunity earlier this year, along with Harold Reynolds. We spoke with the widow of Piper Davis. Piper Davis was the player manager for the Black Barons, who went to recruit Willie Mays, who was still in high school, and asking permission from his mother to allow him to come play games at Rickwood. And Piper Davis's widow spoke about how protective other black Negro leaguers were of Willie, because they knew he was special and they knew there was something pure about him. And they knew, even though they may not get to where Willie was going to go, they were going to make sure that he got there. And Willie got there, and he was able to crack the door open for so many others that came behind him. And when you think about Birmingham legends, especially from that side of town, if we're talking about him growing up literally 2 miles from where Bo Jackson will eventually develop his skills, you know, it's a sad day as well for the state of Alabama. But I think that this week was, the inception of this week was to be a celebration. And I think as best we can, at least I know here in Birmingham, we're going to try and keep it that. And we're also going to celebrate the people who were there, who got through the door after people like Willie Mays came through. But this is absolutely gut-wrenching, and my heart goes out to his entire family. I just spoke with his son, Michael, 2 innings ago.
And if you
about some other things.
Yeah. It's stunning, and it comes certainly as everybody in baseball is focused on Rickwood, and Thursday night was to be a celebration not only of the Negro Leagues but also of Mays with the Giants coming to town, and now it will be a sad one, but a remembrance of what he meant to the sport, what he meant to civil rights.
But just like Roy said, I completely agree. This should be a celebration right here, and hopefully we're able to celebrate his life over these next few days.
Willie Mays has passed away. He was 93. We remember the Say Hey Kid.
Number 44 in your program, number 1 in your heart. Willie Mays.
Say hey. Say hey. Straight to get out the plate. Say hey. Say Willie. That Giants kid is great.
Long before Willie Mays was a national icon, he was a 20-year-old baseball prodigy, debuting with the New York Giants. It was 1951, the golden age of baseball, and Mays wasn't your typical rookie. He had played professionally in the Negro Leagues since he was just 16 years old, and he brought that league's exciting brand of play with him to New York. He could do everything on the field: run, hit, catch, throw, and he did it all with style and flair.
I felt that people pay their money to come to the ballpark. I must do something other than just catch the ball or hit a home run.
He made casual basket catches to delight the fans, and famously wore a hat that was one size too small.
That way, it's never going to stay on. Fans like to see you go back and pick up your hat. They like to see it come off your head.
Willie Mays played like an overgrown kid having the time of his life. And when the press noticed his habit of forgetting names and simply yelling to get your attention, they gave him a nickname: the Say Hey Kid.
Say Willie. What you gonna say?
Willie Mays would win National League Rookie of the Year honors in 1951 and helped the Giants come from 13.5 down to catch the Brooklyn Dodgers, setting up one of the most famous moments in baseball history. One in which Mays, who was on deck at the time, had a front row seat for.
When Bobby hit the home run, I was the last guy to get to home plate. Everybody else is there shouting. I'm saying, my God.
Even though the Giants' luck would run out in the World Series, 1951 was a magical beginning. Few rookies had ever been as popular with a fan base as Willie Mays in New York City.
These kids grew up with me. They knock on my window. I would go out, play stickball for about an hour, 2 hours, and then I buy everybody ice creams.
Unfortunately for Giants fans, Mays would spend the next 2 years in the Army after being drafted. But when he returned in 1954, Mays and the Giants picked up right where they left off. The Say Hey Kid led the league in batting and captured MVP honors. In that year's World Series, Mays was the one making the highlights as the Giants swept the Indians. That play would become known simply as the catch and attained an iconic place in sports history.
You feel that was the greatest catch you ever made?
If they said it's the greatest, I take that.
You'll go along with that.
I go along with that, yeah.
When a moment is attached to a truly iconic player, then it takes on added meaning. If Joe Jones makes a back-to-the-plate catch in the World Series, it's still a great play, but it's not Willie Mays, and therefore it doesn't stay in the imagination.
More than 6 decades later, the catch still resonates.
Willie Mays style catch.
The Willie Mays, age of Willie Mays again.
In a way, Willie Mays became our touchstone to a bygone era, a time preserved in grainy black and white. The next World Series would be the first broadcast in full color. And 3 years after that, in 1958, came the unthinkable. The Giants left New York City and moved west to San Francisco.
To all intents and purposes, Willie Mays, greatest player of his time, was starting all over again, having to prove himself to a new set of facts.
San Francisco built Willie so high, and they found out that Willie was a human being. He strike out, whatever, and they can understand.
Every time I went to the plate, they were expecting a home run out of me. But why? Why are they bored?
Mays would do his best to win them over. In the '58 season, he set career-high marks for hits and average. But to many in the Bay Area, he was still New York's superstar. And Mays' everyday excellence was lost on fans expecting legendary moments.
I just went on and played my game. I kept my mouth closed. I never did say anything about anything, but that's just the way it was, in those days,
On April 30th, 1961, Mays delivered his first iconic San Francisco moment.
Delivery. Mays spins another run. He's going forward into the center field bleachers. Willie Mays has tied a record 4 home runs in a game.
4 home runs. As only maybe 8 or 9 guys have did that. But I'm so happy that I could be a member of a club like that, and it's not even funny.
And then the next year, Willie Mays led San Francisco to the pennant, hitting a game-winning home run on the last day of the regular season to move the Giants into a first-place tie with the Dodgers. He followed that with a dominant performance in a 3-game tiebreaker series to send his club to the World Series.
That was more fun to me than hitting 4 home runs. I would sit in my locker and just laugh.
When we did win the down in L.A., we came back home, and I would say just about all the people in San Francisco was at the airport.
The Giants would eventually fall in heartbreaking fashion to the Yankees, losing Game 7 on the game's final play. But for Mays and San Francisco, the tide had turned, and the love affair would be lasting. Mays' popularity on both coasts helped him transcend sports. The Say Hey Kid was a media darling and a regular sight on popular TV shows of the era. Fans couldn't get enough of Willie Mays, and throughout the mid to late 60s, he continued to play brilliantly, winning another MVP award in 1965, and passing milestone after milestone on his way towards baseball immortality.
Mays hits it into left field. Willie Mays has done it again. He has brought the baseball world to a standstill.
For a while, it even looked like it would be Mays, not Aaron, who would pass Babe Ruth's all-time home run record.
It's gone. It's a home run for 599 of Babe's career.
But all those years of all-out play had begun to take their toll. And soon, even taking the field at times became difficult.
As you become slower, you will... Don't use that word. Less fast. Okay, all right.
Then, in May of 1972, with the Giants rebuilding, they shipped their aging superstar back to the city where it all began, trading Willie Mays to the Mets.
Baseball fans in the eastern metropolis will tell you this is his hometown.
Mays played sparingly in his 2 seasons in Queens, but did get another shot at the Fall Classic, as the Mets would make the World Series in 1973. The Mets ultimately lost to the A's in 7 games, and that series would be the last time Willie Mays would ever play on a Major League Baseball field. At 42 years old, the Say Hey Kid would walk away from the game he loved.
The game of baseball has been great to me. Something that I never feel that I would ever quit baseball. But as you know, it always comes a time for someone to get out. And I look at the kids over here, the way they are playing, and the way they are fighting for themselves, tells me one thing. Willie, say goodbye to America. Thank you very much.
In 1979, Willie Mays was inducted into Cooperstown. The Say Hey Kid was a first-ballot Hall of Famer and one of the most iconic players the game has ever seen.
The Giants Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays.
Over his 23-year career, Willie Mays won Rookie of the Year honors, 2 MVP awards, and amassed 3,293 hits. He hit 660 home runs to go along with his 24 All-Star selections and 12 Gold Glove awards. But in a sport that cherishes numbers, as extraordinary as his were, they somehow still seem inadequate when describing the brilliance of the Say Hey Kid.
Baseball is just a wonderful game. Every time I went on the field, I enjoyed what I was doing. And I enjoyed throwing out people. I enjoyed hitting a home run. I gave everything I had.
We are back in Birmingham in the ballpark where Willie Mays at 17 became a Birmingham Black Baron in the Negro Leagues and helped them win the Negro League American League title, sent them to the World Series where they would lose the lead to the Kansas City Monarchs. Celebrating this great sport, this 3-night celebration here in Birmingham, the AA game in Birmingham and Montgomery tonight, the softball tomorrow, and of course the Giants and the Cardinals on Thursday night. That will be on Fox. Moments ago, Commissioner Rob Manfred issued this statement. All of Major League Baseball is mourning today as we are gathered at the very ballpark where a career and a legacy like no other began. Willie Mays took his all-around brilliance from the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro American League to the historic Giants franchise. From coast to coast in New York and San Francisco, Willie inspired generations of players and fans as the game grew and truly earned its place as the national pastime. Thursday's game at historic Rickwood Field was designed to be a celebration of Willie Mays and his peers. With sadness in our hearts, it now will serve as a national remembrance of an American who will forever remain on the short list of the most impactful individuals our great game has ever known. Birmingham here rallying with a couple of runs. Chris, just watching that tribute, I'm reminded that in my neighborhood at 5, 6, 7 years old, when you got on base, you literally knocked your cap off. You would round first base, knock the helmet off, because that's what Willie Mays did. Right. That's what we saw on television as young wannabe baseball players who were in Little League or Pee Wee League or whatever league it was.
Yeah, for me, it was the stories shared by my parents about they had the opportunity to see Willie Mays, and man, if you had the chance to see Willie Mays, you would have seen all the things he was able to do on the field. There was no better player than Willie Mays to my family.
And if you look at his numbers, obviously he's a great Hall of Famer. He was MVP a couple times, 12-time Gold Glover. I think he made 24 All-Star teams. You look at all his numbers, and like many in his era, he served in the Army a couple years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was in the armed services a couple seasons.
With Willie, even when you watch the tribute that we had to him, or hear the things that I'm sure people are going to be posting about and sharing stories of Willie, just like I have my own personal story with Willie, there's so many people that have a personal connection with Willie on how he impacted their baseball careers or their lives. So even aside from the numbers that he was able to put up, you're able to see how much of a character he was, how much he shared his life with the world, how much he shared his personality with anybody who came across him. He wasn't shy about it, and he really represented the game of baseball in a way that we all thrive to do.
The Giants, maybe more so than in any franchise in baseball, do the best job at cultivating and celebrating and keeping their legends in that organization. If you go in to do a Giants game years ago, you could just walk over a couple of booths over and have a great chat with Willie McCovey. And you could see Mays. The legends were in and around that franchise, and he was until the very end.
Yep, or you see him sitting right there behind the dugout.
Yeah. Willie Mays has passed away at the age of 93. We're back to Birmingham after this.